Hello folks, it's Aaron here once again, and today we're going to be doing the review of the Figurerise standard Kamen Rider Kuuga from Kamen Rider Kuuga. This right here is Kuuga in his mighty form as we see him during the events of Kamen Rider Kuuga. This right here is his second form when he transforms. His first form is pupa form. I made a whole video about his transformations. You can actually probably put an indentation or something link on the video later down the line. But this right here is Kamen Rider Kuuga in his mighty form and his all majestic glory. And let me tell you, and I probably mentioned this before when it comes to Kamen Rider, was Master Rider Kuuga being my first Kamen Rider series to watch, and still my favorite to this day because I love the whole story and all that. Overall, looking pretty nice and detailed. But without further ado, folks, is that right in with everything Master Rider Kuuga comes with. And we are back, and this is everything Master Rider Kuuga comes with. As we can see right here, this Master Rider Kuuga in his mighty form, his basically second form in transformation. His first form being his pupa form. That's the white armor version that you see right there. And then right here, basically all the accessories comes with is basically not that much. It's basically comes with 5 hand manipulators. Technically it's 7 because he has 2 close hands as the initial ones. Then he has basically 3 right hands. Well, technically it's all 4, but 3 right hands. Basically has 4 open hands with both left and right. He has his iconic thumbs up one, which we saw in the beginning of this video. And then right here is the effect part for his kick when he does his kick. And it does have his iconic Kuuga mark right there for when he does it on the enemies. And then we have right here Kamen Rider Kuuga from Everything in His Glory, which I'm going to tell you, model kit wise, really do love this. He looks exactly as he does in the show, which is what I do love. I do love the detail work for this. They actually did pretty well with this. It's basically everything detail wise, into the armor, to the insignias on the armor, on the gold right there. A lot of this, I will say, on the little dots right there, it is technically sticker-wise. But I will say this, I decided to go in and just paint the whole entire thing. Because I kind of felt like it was a little bit better to do the whole paint job. The belt does have stickers right there. I will say that. But I will say the stickers do actually work pretty nice. As long as you make sure you do it right, because it was a whole lot of thing. Overall, pretty nice, so I do say so myself. Overall, really good model kit. And yeah, going on to basically articulation. So starting off with articulation, we go with the head folks first. And the head is on a ball joint, so that's actually pretty easy. So basically 360 right there, no problem at all. The arms are also on their own ball joints too. Right here, you can see right here on the body right there, ball joint right there. So arms are able to spin around, no problem at all. The armor is actually able to move a little bit up and down, which I actually do like, not gonna lie. That's actually what I like about these. Arms on a double jointed right there, so not bad at all. Though I will say because it's kind of, you can actually bend the arm right there a little bit, so you can like try to get that joint to move around as it is double jointed, but sometimes it's a little bit blocked right there, but you can move it a little bit up and down. Hands, like always, on almost any Bandai's kit, well, almost anything, they're on ball joints, so they spin around, move around left and right, no problem at all. Then we have here the torso, actually does have some, no, shit, I have crunch, but the armor is separated, so it will probably discontinue, so just watch out when you're doing that right there, but don't worry about it. The armor is separated, so if it does pop off, you can just put it back on again. But what's called does have the ball joint right there, so technically just move around back and right. Overall, pretty nice. Ooh, sorry, my little stand right here I'm having right now. Sometimes it's a little bit off balance there. The legs are basically on the stick joint thing, so he's able to do the split. That's what we want sometimes with our model kit folks, to be able to do the famous split right there. And unlike with some Gundam model kits, his legs able to go all the way up, which is what we want. All the way into the, mostly to the back. Once again, the butt flap does stop us again, which is weird. I mean, not weird, but it's a lot of things. But the legs are actually able to go all the way up back there, so that's actually not bad at all. It's able to do its bend, which is pretty nice, which is what we want with our Kamen Rider model kits. Bend. Foot is on its own ball joint too, swivel, back and right. So overall, it's able to do some movement, so that way you can do the poses. And yeah, next thing. And we're back. Well, now time to do some status comparisons with other model kits and figures I have lying around. Starting out with a couple more Kamen Rider figures, or well, model kits. And technically to one that's actually the successor to Kamen Rider Kuuga. Well, technically speaking, we're going to go by it. It's Agito. This right here is my Master Rider Agito. This is basically his first form, or ground form for those who want to know. And to those who kind of want to know, Agito and well, in the first episode, Agito was supposedly a little bit connected to Kuuga because of how the armor was G3. But then later down the line, decided to make their own, which is still great because Agito, I still love its series and its sword too as well. Afterwards, overall pretty great. And you can see the similarities with their armor designs, since what's it called, one followed the other after a year later. Overall pretty nice. And going from Agito, we have the entry grade Kamen Rider Saber, who is one of my favorite designs when it comes to Kamen Rider right here. I do love design. I kind of hate that he did not get a Figurerise standard full model kit. But I will say the entry grade is still pretty great. It's good statue right there. But I will say I probably will be doing some panel lining on him because he kind of does need it, if I'm going to be honest. Just to give him a little bit more artwork, at least to the right side of the arm. But overall, still pretty great. Going from Saber, we have one of my other SH figure arts with Mask Rider 2. A little bit much more smaller than regular Kuuga, than Figurerise standard. Kuuga, since he's a little bit taller, since he's around the 6-inch marks. I think where most of the Figurerise standard SH figure arts figures are like around the 5, 5.5, depending on the situation. Again, going from Mask Rider 2, we have, and I will say this, I will eventually do a Ryuki one eventually, but starting off with Kamen Rider Ryuki with other writers, we have my Sojo Kamen Rider Uja in his blank form right there. And then we have Survive form right here, which I still love this right here. I'm still trying to get the rest of these Sojo figures for the Kamen Rider Ryuki ones. Eventually we'll get them all. But overall, I really do like these. And then last but not least of the Kamen Rider stuff that I have at the moment is my very tiny, another Sojo figure of Kamen Rider Ghost, who does not want to stand because he's going to fall. Come on. And these little guys are really, really tall. It's actually a really like 3-inch figure for this guy right here. You can see the different size comparisons. And then last but not least, not Kamen Rider, but technically it is part of the Tozuka era, was the White Dino Ranger. And what just funny is he's technically my only Power Ranger Super Sentai figure I have. I used to have a lot of them back when I was a kid, but now he's the last one standing of all the stuff that I used to have. Still my favorite though, because I do love his design. And then last but not least, to the channel's mascot as well, my Gundam Estrella. Because he's always going to be right here. It was always still going to be shorter, because what's it called, a lot of Gundam little kids kind of realize now. Really, I should have short side. At least it was the regular base Estrella. Now on to the last part. And with that away, folks, this is right here is the review for the Figurerise standard Kamen Rider Kuuga. Oh, a really, really nice model kit. Articulation is pretty great. It's what we want for our model kits. Accessories not that much, since regular base Mighty Kuuga is just basically doesn't have that many weapons. It's basically just his fist and his kicks, which is really, but that's pretty nice for him regardless. These kits usually come around like 30-ish bucks or so, depending on where you get them, and that's usually around the range for the Figurerise standard for most Kamen Riders. Some of them tend to go 40, but it depends on which ones. For Kuuga, he actually does have a couple other forms too as well, and Figurerise standard you can get. We have his Dragon, his Pegasus. Ooh, no. And we have his Pegasus form, his Mighty form, and we also have his Ultimate form at the end. Overall, still pretty nice, good model kit. I do recommend this if you are a fan of Kamen Rider, and especially a fan of Kamen Rider Kuuga. He's still one of my favorites, and overall, really, really great model kit. But yeah, if you like this video, please consider dropping a like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it, folks. And as always, have a nice day. This is Parn, signing out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, folks.